Now,
Longtime lawmaker John Rogers is a free man again.
Yeah, he spent the last week in the Coleman County Jail for a bond violation. WVTM 13 John Papke was there when the judge released him and joins us from the federal courthouse now. John, what kind of restrictions did the judge place on Rogers?
Well, Brittany, first of all, he can have zero contact with his co-defendant, Vari Johnson Kendall, who he's actually been living with since the case began. He must now live in his own West End Birmingham home, and he can only speak about this case with his personal defense team. Rogers walked out of the Hugo Black Federal Courthouse just before lunch today. He had to spend the previous 7 days in the Coleman County Jail, like you mentioned. Now, prosecutors had argued he had tried twice to FaceTime a key witness in the case after the judge had told him not to contact or attempt to contact anyone in the case at his arraignment. Rogers' attorney argued to the judge that he had mistakenly hit the witness's number, who has a similar name to the person he was actually trying to reach. Rogers is charged with urging someone to not talk to investigators about a scheme which funneled nearly $200,000 in tax money to his assistant. Near the end of today's hearing, Rogers told the judge recovering from hip surgery in a jail were some of the worst days of his life.
He speaks very highly of the people at the Coleman County Jail who tried to make his stay there this past week as comfortable as possible.
Now, some other new bond conditions that were levied against Rogers in today's hearing. He actually must delete any contacts that are connected to anybody in the case from his personal cell number. Also, the probation office will be screening his phone records to make sure he's complying with the judge's restrictions. Live in Birmingham, John Papke, WVTM 13.
Well, in the last 3 weeks, the Alabama Forestry Commission has responded to nearly 150 wildfires, some of those in central Alabama. That includes places like Anniston.
Yeah, so this is where we found our WVTM 13's Emma Owen, who is telling us what firefighters are saying about these destructive flames.
Brittany and Ian, the main message from first responders right now is to stop burning. Brandon Cannell, assistant chief of the Anniston Fire Department, tells me their call volume goes up tremendously during this dry weather.
If you'll just follow the rules, it would make things a lot easier for us.
In the last 3 days, Cannell says the department has responded to 8 fires, 19 in the last week. He says many of these are because people are ignoring the burn ban.
Just on our shift, we've had several building fires actually, and all of them have been started based off of somebody burning something, and it spread into that adjoining building, which has cost insurance or the property owner a lot of money.
And it's not just expensive, but potentially dangerous. Fire officials in Anniston say weekend fires not only cost taxpayers thousands of dollars, but, quote, left our medical response slim to none. The main takeaway here?
Just don't burn. Just follow the rules.
Coming up at 6, I'll tell you how the Alabama Forestry Commission is stepping in to help. Reporting in Anniston, Emma Owen, WVTM 13.
So let's get you back over to Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson this afternoon.
Yeah, Jason, we love the sunshine, but it is just so dry out there, potentially dangerous too. Thankfully, we could see a little bit of a change pretty soon.
Later this week, there is a chance of some rain, but right now, these are the statistics as we have them. 5.9 inches below normal since September 1st. That is an extreme hole that we found ourselves in with regard to rain. We think below to much below normal rainfall through November 16th around here. We need more than 3 inches of rain to end the drought, but the chance of getting at least 1 inch, only about 10% through November 16th. Some rain is coming later this week, but before it gets here, we're looking at potential record warmth with some low to mid 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Rain moves in on Friday, and this is, again, not going to be the drought buster that most of us are looking for. Right now, we're at 75 in Birmingham, 77 in Jasper, 73 in Coleman, and in Alabaster. There are some clouds passing overhead, and that sky this afternoon just looks like November to me. That's just what it looks like outside, with the leaves all changing color and turning brown and the clouds drifting overhead. Those will clear. We will still be cool with a light south to southwest wind tonight. Temperatures falling off into the low and mid 50s early tomorrow morning. I'll show you how things are going to change and when that rain could arrive later this week coming up. Ian and Brittany?
Jason, thanks. Calls for a ceasefire growing louder around the world as Israel enters the 5th week of war with Hamas.
As Tracy Wilkins tells us, President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have discussed a pause to provide safe passage for civilians and also to allow humanitarian aid to move.
Israeli troops may enter Gaza City today or Tuesday in ground warfare that's expected to increase casualties on both sides of the conflict. Hamas is reporting that over the weekend, Israel struck a refugee camp in Gaza, killing dozens, according to NBC News. Israel's military is not commenting on that claim. This as U.S. Arab allies are pleading with the U.S. to rein Israel in.
Human values dictate that we work for peace and we stop this madness.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heard those calls firsthand during his weekend trip to the Middle East.
Every country I talk to is looking for us to play a leading role with our diplomacy to try to make progress on all of these different aspects of the crisis.
Blinken spent the weekend building support for President Biden's call for Israel to take humanitarian pauses in Gaza to help free more than 200 hostages, including some Americans, and allow for the safe transport of food, water, and medicine. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his allies are rejecting calls for a pause.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is going to do what he wants to do here. And look, this has been obviously the pattern with him with multiple U.S. presidents.
Protesters across the globe and in the U.S. held demonstrations this weekend.
Bring them home!
During Sunday's New York City Marathon, pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian supporters holding dueling protests. In D.C., tens of thousands of protesters called for Israel to cease fire, something the U.S. does not support.
Palestine! Free Palestine!
While mostly peaceful, those protesters left their mark, smeared red handprints on the walls and gates of the White House, representing blood. Blinken is calling conversations with Israel an ongoing process. He says the U.S. is concerned about getting aid to Palestinian civilians and the toll that this has taken on them. Israel is saying that they're expecting the war to continue for several more weeks. From Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News.
Well, today, former President Trump testifying in his civil fraud trial. After a contentious morning of testimony, he gestured he was keeping his lips zipped as he left for the morning break. He was sworn in not long after court was called into session, dismissing the proceedings as politically motivated. In a lawsuit accusing him of dramatically inflating his net worth, at one point, the presiding judge told the former president to keep his answers on point and concise, saying, quote, "This is not a political rally." The judge also called for his attorneys to control their client.
One person in custody after a standoff incident in Homewood. Police say that they went out to a home on Edgecrest Drive after receiving a call for a welfare check. When they got there, they heard multiple shots from inside. Police went in and heard a second round of gunfire. Officers say some of the man's family members arrived and were able to convince him to come out. While no people were hurt, police say that the man did kill a dog inside. The man was taken to the hospital for evaluation. They're exploring the possibility of criminal charges. Well, a big weekend on the road coming up for the Tide and the Tigers.
This, of course, coming after both teams had big wins over the weekend. The Crimson Tide, they are on the road at Kentucky this Saturday, after defeating LSU 42-28. Head coach Nick Saban noting everyone needs to be on the ball and not drop their guard or get complacent.
Even Sunday morning when I got up, I was like, wow, I'm tired, but got to go, man. You got to keep going. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep focused on what you have to do to get better and to prepare for the next game because, Kentucky is a completely different type of team.
The Auburn Tigers also on the road at Arkansas Saturday afternoon after soundly beating Vandy 31-15. This is an important game as well. The Tigers need a victory to be bowl eligible, but they know they have a challenge ahead after a big win for the Razorbacks.
I think they've got a lot of motivation, and it's a very scary team. I think they're doing a really good job. They're really good on defense, stopping the run, and obviously KJ's had great respect for him.
All right, so you can watch the Tide Saturday. Bama facing Kentucky with an 11 a.m. kick. The Tigers at Arkansas. That one's at 3 in the afternoon.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here with us. We're taking a look here on the roads on this Monday afternoon, and we are looking pretty good. Overall, a lot of green here on our traffic map. Starting to get a little busy in the downtown area. No accidents or incidents, though, to report. 65 southbound, and of course, Highway 280 looking a little busy as well. Let's take a live look outside at Highway 280. This is right near the 459 area. Traffic is moving slowly, but we are going steady for this afternoon so far.
All right, so a local woman is doing her part to save the planet. We're going to show you